Alright, we're live. Let's, hey, we got Yayo. Josh, how are you? That's my favourite last name, by the way, 2 letters. It's the exact opposite of mine that has like 113, so very cool. I'm going to be doing a bit of a live unboxing today because a new guitar has turned up. You might see that I've got the Little Crow guitars out, so it's another Little Crow guitar. But I thought it's always fun, first impressions on stuff and seeing how things sound. I thought I'd bring these two out as a basis for comparison. Over the last couple of weeks, I've started to realize that this is by far my best sounding humbucker pickup guitar by a mile. I love it. Alright, so we've got Dwayne. How you going, Paul? Aaron. We've got lots of folks here already. Francis. Kendrick, Ben. Alright. Ben says he's been waiting all day for his weekly time waste. So here we go. This is where we're going to waste at least 30 minutes unboxing a guitar. Now, I have to let people know one thing at least right now is my comments are here. So if I'm turned away, I'm not ignoring you. And two, I've actually torn my lower back muscles doing the leg press. I can't believe it. After 7 months of training, I actually hurt myself. A little bit of an accident there. So my unboxing speed is going to be very, very slow right now because I'm really sore. Showman Blue says, "Hey Shane, I didn't even realize this was live." It is. Hey folks, we've got 62 people here already. Wow, that's amazing. And yeah. So it's been an interesting day. I'll get to that as we go. Interesting as in a weird kind of day. I might get to that soon. I posted a little comment on Facebook, but right now I guess what we need to do is check out what we've got in the box. Now, for those who have just joined, I just mentioned I hurt my back, so this unboxing is going to be extremely awkward. Let's just say I'm thankful that one of my good friends is a doctor. He said I could take some pills. It's always good. But yeah, we have a box here. It's actually not heavy. I'm just in a lot of pain. So I'm going to unbox this quickly. I'm going to see what it's all about. So this is a new Little Crow guitar. I saw a picture of it. Haven't played it. Haven't touched it until now, so this should be a bit of fun. Let me know if the sound's all good too, guys, because the microphone's a little bit further away than normal. I'm just going to flip this, so bear with me, guys. Ugh. Man, I tell you what, I can't believe how sore my back is right now. It's ridiculous. We have some foam. Taste it. Actually, it's packed extremely well. As always, the guitars that come from Little Crow, I got to give Dave and Viv. Oh wow, this is actually really, really light. What do you reckon? This is kind of like, I'd say this is kind of like their middle guitar in terms of aesthetics. I'd say this one's probably the nicest looking guitar based on its finish. I don't know. Actually, they're both pretty nice. This is the equivalent but different. So this one's actually their blues plank. Paul says cycling is actually better for me. Well, you know what? I've been training 7 months and not hurt myself because I take the initiative to learn a lot about what I'm doing before I do it. It was one of those things where I just twisted slightly and my legs came down a little too far, put pressure on my sort of hips, and I sort of hyperextended my back a little bit. Which is the first time that's ever happened. So it will never happen again. It's just one of the live and learn. No pain, no gain. Well, this is the kind of pain you don't want. Ooh. What do you reckon? Different headstock. This is interesting. I kind of, my first impressions of this already is that I reckon Little Crow should have the same headstock on all of their guitars. I don't know about you folks, but I would prefer this one. Make that headstock, or this headstock, on just all of their guitars. I think headstocks are as iconic as a logo. So, little bit of feedback there. I always give Dave my brutal and honest feedback, and Viv. But wow, I gotta say, it looks pretty wild. Yeah, 2 mini humbuckers, awesome. 4-way toggle. Oh, okay. Pots are very, very tight. Maybe a little too tight. That's interesting. It's got Wilkinson tuners. Actually, where's my remote? Oh, I'm an idiot. I didn't get it. Let me get my remote. It's always fun being able to zoom. Yeah, I'm in that much pain, guys. It sucks. But let's zoom in here. Show you this. What time is it there? It is 2 o'clock p.m. So, yeah, 2 o'clock p.m. The sun is out. So we've got, check out this wood, folks. It looks pretty awesome. It's got the same plate as on the back of this one. So it's got that aluminium or aluminum if you're missing the extra eye. And has the bolt-on neck with the Allen keys. Nice neck. Not too fat. It's not as fat as either of the other 2 guitars that are here right now. So we might have a quick play test and see how it sounds. I got the Bugera amp out. And we have 100 people here. Wow. So welcome. Thanks to all the new subscribers as well. There's people joining every day, like 40, 60, 80 people. It's growing exponentially. So thanks for stopping by. What I'm going to do... Oh, that's interesting. How's that? Plug comes out the back. Very cool. It means you can, hook it up easily to within your strap and sort of have it out of the way. That's actually not bad. What I'm going to do first is tune it up because it's right out of tune. Like, it's just come all the way from Western Australia to Melbourne, which is like going from LA to New York City by road. It's just a semitone out. It's not too bad. Hey, the tuners feel pretty good. I'll check the comments in one sec. Let's get this thing tuned up. Who's got that fear of string snapping in your eyes? Alright. It's pretty close. I'll leave that on there, just in case. It's pretty, would love to get a left-handed one as well. Well, these are like Little Crow's budget guitars, so a lot less time is spent, I believe, on these, even though, yeah, it looks pretty wild. I'm actually really digging weird guitars, and I say weird lovingly. Like, it's interesting that my tastes are starting to change. I used to only ever want to play a Strat or a 335 or a Tele. The more I play obscure guitars, the more I'm enjoying it. So this is neck pickup. Whoa! Maybe I didn't tune that one up right. There we go. Now this Bugera amp's on 1 watt mode right now, so it's not overly cranked. But hopefully you can hear that. Yeah, this is a Little Crow guitar. I was just commenting saying, like, if this was my brand, I would probably keep all the headstocks the same, or at least have, or maybe just have 2. Like, have that type, but have that type on everything. I think, I don't know. What's your thoughts on that? Same headstocks all around, or mix it up depending on the guitar? Yeah. pickups in series. John says same headstocks. Go with the headstock that has the strings the most in line. I like the new headstock. I like headstocks, doesn't bother me either way. Cool, cool. Alright, this I believe is probably both pickups out of phase, so that Peter Green thing. Bridge. It's pretty nice. Now the cool thing about mini humbuckers, for those who don't know mini humbuckers, they're kind of like that middle ground between single coils and humbuckers. So you get the clarity of a single coil, slightly hotter, but not that much hotter, but with no buzz. So it's dead quiet. It's pretty cool. So my first impressions are these pots need to not be as tight as they are. They're way too, like you've got it, there we go, done. It requires, like, you know, quite a bit of effort to turn them on. For those wondering too, I am a lefty. On is this way on most guitars when you're left-handed. On is, they just wire it up like a right-hander. I prefer that on anything other than a Strat or a Tele. Alright. Do they make a Siggy Braun Little Crow? Is that the same company? I don't know. The only other signature sort of guitar they make is Justin Johnson. He's like a sort of finger picker dude from the US. Great player. Definitely worth checking him out on YouTube. Checking out, folks. Enjoying the new axe. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate that, man. Loving the mini humbuckers out of these guys. Still saving for the SD model and the flights to WA to play it first. Yeah, always try to play guitars first if you can. Unless there's no option. If you're buying from overseas and that's the only option, then, you know, you can take that risk on guitars. But, you know, if you have a chance to play them, you'll know straight away whether you like it or not. That's neck. It's pretty cool. That's that Dire Straitsy sort of sound. More distorted on my little Bugera. It's one of my favorite little riffs of all time, that whole progression. I love it. Nice high end, and that's the beauty of mini humbuckers. They have lots of clarity. So that's that out of phase sound now. In tune. I might have hit a bad note. Looks like a mahogany body, maple neck and rosewood fretboard, but I don't know. Now, Little Crow use mostly Australian guitars. I have a feeling Australian woods, I meant to say, not Australian guitars. They're an Australian guitar. I think the body on this one is actually a New Zealand wood, from what I recall from Dave's message, but I could be wrong on that. The neck definitely... It's pretty chunky, actually. It's not quite as chunky as the others, but it feels pretty close. What I'm really digging about these guitars now is their consistency. Check this out. Check out the fretboards. They look identical. The necks look identical. Well, minus the the wood grain and all that kind of stuff. But the actual visual is pretty much the same. So that's not so bad. We might do a quick A/B between a few of these guitars too and see how. Ben says, "Is it made from tone wood?" I've heard great things about that. Absolutely, man, because you gotta make sure you get the right tone wood and then have a huge argument online about it as well. That's the trick. Bridge again? Let's try some, what do we got? Pretty wild. It's pretty wild. Let's have a listen to this. Bridge pickup, old strings, dead strings. Let's do the same sort of thing if I can play that again. I don't think I used my pick, did I? Sounds pretty wild. So it holds its own, just a little bit different. In the room there's not a huge amount of difference in the sound, but then again, I'm playing through an amp with an 8-inch speaker and on 1 watts. So this is probably one of my favorite guitars right now. Definitely my favorite humbucker guitar, bridge pickup. Alright, so Little Crow Guitars is in the chat. Howdy Dave and Viv, how you going? I've just come on board. Body is New Zealand pine. I had a feeling that was the case with something New Zealand. I couldn't quite remember. Neck, mountain, ash, fretboard, W, Western Australia, she oak. Hopefully that's how you pronounce that. So we were just having a conversation earlier about the headstock and whether or not you should just sort of standardize the headstock to either, like my personal preference would be this on everything, or that, or just have 2 maximum. I don't know if 3's a good idea, because I reckon your logo and headstock are as iconic as each other when it comes to brand reference and brand recognition. Maybe you could pick a Fender headstock just based on just how they look, even if you can't see the logo. I mean, it doesn't look bad, but that was just thoughts out loud. So Matt says he hears no difference between the 3. That's probably my playing. They do sound different in the room. This one's just slightly out of tune again. I've got my heater on right there. Let's give it another tune up. So this guitar plays really well. It feels good to play. My only small comment would be the pots are very tight. They have a lot of tension. Probably more than any other guitar I've played. I never use the tone pot on any guitar, so for me that doesn't matter, but the volume control is really quite, yeah, it's quite tight. Yeah, it's great. And As always, I just speak my mind, so my opinions are only my opinions. But yeah, it looks great. It feels good. Back to neck. It's going to be the worst lick I've ever played. Yeah, alright. What's the price point? Good question. I'm not too sure. Alright, so Marbs Music says, why don't I ever use the tone pot? I find them redundant, just in general. It's one less thing I need to worry about. To set up my amp, I use the exact amount of top end I need, and then I don't have to fiddle with my guitar. I would prefer to set up my amp so one less thing to play with. That's not a sound I'm ever going to use. And if I set my amp up right, I don't need to use the top end, the tone control. Let's wind a little bit off. It's not bad, slightly out of tune, but back up. So yeah, what I like about this already is the neck feels great, the body looks and feels awesome. It smells awesome too. It's that new guitar smell. So my only criticism would be maybe actually, it doesn't feel quite as bad now. Maybe it's just new. The first few lines on the volume control felt really high tension. It's still got more tension than each of the other guitars, but not... Yeah, probably a little bit more than the Corvino, but it's not... doesn't make it unplayable or anything, just a small side note. Showman says he sets up the guitar tone and volume all the way up, and that's how I set up my amp. So, minus my little Big Aero practice amp where I've just turned everything to 12 o'clock and turned the tone all the way up. Any amp I play, I set up my tone with everything up. I see a lot of guys who live on their tone controls and they always have the worst tone playing live. And I'm not talking about pros or gigging musos. These guys are jams who set up their amp, don't really know what they're doing. They've always got their tone control on half and it sounds like it just never quite cuts, you know, the way that it could had they have just, you know, got rid of that. So simplicity is what's really great about this. I do use the volume control a lot on my guitars, probably use that more than anything else. And yeah, it's got a really unique sound. I think what I'm going to do is probably bring the neck pickup up just a hair. I don't know, that sounds pretty good. Maybe just visually it looks a little lower than I thought, but... So Little Crow Guitar says the price is 1,400 Australian, so that works out to about, I don't know, 1,050 US, give or take, after the exchange rate, which is pretty reasonable for a handmade guitar. Especially this quality, good pickups. Yeah, bridge looks kind of cool too. It's 3 saddle bridge. Let me zoom in on that. I didn't notice that until now. I wasn't paying attention. For those of you who know, I like my Telecasters. I always prefer the bridge to have one of these on the most part. These, yeah, bridges like this. Very cool. It's nice and shiny. I noticed one thing on this particular blues plank, which wasn't... is this a blues plank? Is that what we're calling this one? It doesn't have the sync strainer on the back, like some of the old ones did. They used to have this big sort of circle thing on the back. It's kind of steampunky. But no, I definitely think this one looks pretty cool. But yeah, my suggestion would be, I think it would look better with a headstock like this one. Sorry, I'm reversed on the camera. Maybe just center that a little bit to the center there. But you know, either way, it's pretty wild. So yeah, I'm impressed. New strings and heater make for bad tuning. It would definitely... Oh, actually, I'm not on chromatic. Here we go. Let's get this tuned up and I'll check the comments. The way I play too, I dig in pretty hard and I bend a lot. So this is the new string blues. Alright, there we go. Oh, we've got Hutch from BA. How are you, man? Oh, someone from Boston is interested in a guitar. That's pretty cool. We've also got Little Crow here as well. Pine is a little soft, but it's a great tone wood. Fender used pine bodies in the early days. They did, and they still do. Some of their high-end custom shop stuff uses pine. Mate of mine, Rick, has their... what was the name of that guitar? He's got a black tally with like old school pine. Yeah. One foot in the blues plank and one somewhere else. So this is a different range. I wasn't sure if it was a blues plank or not. It did look a little bit different. Yeah, I like the fact that jack comes out the back. Some people may or may not like that, but I kind of dig it. It kind of reminds me of an Explorer to some extent, but not as pointy and as rock and roll. This is much more of a roots blues instrument, in my opinion. I gotta say, this heel, is that what you call it? Where the neck, headstock hits the neck, feels awesome. That's one thing I love about these guitars. It's, you know, they've built it up here as well, so if it falls, it's not going to do a Gibson, which is great. Give me a nice overdrive pedal, treble booster, good pots, and I'm good to go. Humbuckers play easier. Everyone stopped asking Shane questions and going straight to Little Crow. Hey, why not? Because realistically, they built the guitar. I didn't. They know a lot more about it than I do. I just got it. It turned up about 15 minutes ago when I was on the phone. And I thought, you know what? I'll open it and do a live unboxing. So it's great having them here. And yeah, I'm sure they'll be able to answer a whole lot more questions than I'd be able to. Bridge. I gotta stop playing that lick. I gotta stop doing that. See? I gotta stop playing that. Been good lately. I feel like my brain to hand coordination is coming up with more unique stuff lately. I've still got that muscle memory lick in me, which I need to get rid of, but I'm starting to feel a lot more free lately than just playing the same stuff I've been playing for a while. So yeah, I dig it. I think it sounds great. Let's go back to this one for a sec. This is my new favorite at the moment in terms of humbuckers. Oh, absolute beast. Bridge. Far out, stop doing that lick. There we go. Out of phase. Make a conscious effort to break habits, man. It's not easy. Both pickups together, like in series. It's probably my favorite position. And neck. Go back to the mini humbuckers. Keep in mind too, folks, I'm playing through what is considered a bit of a junk amp, even though I like it. You're probably not going to hear the nuances through mic, which is over here, and my amp's over there. So let's try neck again. I'll play the same sort of thing. Oop. It's got more of an open sort of sound. This. It sounds less in your face, maybe, like a bit more stratty. That's pretty good. Alright, Shane, which do I prefer most and why? Well, I haven't had this one for long. I've had this for about 15 minutes. This is my first official playtest on it. In terms of overall comfort and how I feel playing it, I'd still probably say this one. And the reason is, every time I've played this after using like any of my other guitars, I tend to think, wow, it's the best sounding guitar I've had. Some of the best tone moments I've ever experienced and playing moments have been with this guitar. I cut a live album on it. I used it exclusively on my last studio album. And what can I say? It just does everything that a Telecaster would do, except it has a little bit more chime, and but just the pickup combination's spectacular. Feel-wise, it's great. That's probably, I think, the most comfortable guitar for me to wear, if that makes sense. When I'm standing and playing, I'm just so used to that. That's probably where it's coming down to. I played this the other night, last couple of weeks, and a few of my good friends said I should make this my #1 guitar. And I just did a podcast, actually. I put a podcast up about this today. It's on iTunes. And how I totally didn't expect this guitar to sound the way that it did, and it's by far the best sounding humbucker pickup guitar I have by a mile. In terms of, you know, these type of pickups, it actually makes my others sound like there's towels over the pickups or wet towels or something. It literally jumps out so much more than I'm used to, and yeah, it's kind of shockingly good. And I just realized I've belt scuffed the back. Look at that. It's been relicked. Damn. Really? I wonder if that was done some other way. Yeah, it's probably my belt. Damn it. Anyway, it's no big deal. You want them played. You don't want them sitting around. But look, in terms of humbucker tone, I'd go for this over almost any of my other guitars. But yeah, overall I'm still sort of partial to this one right now, just based on the way that it feels. I think this is probably the most usable guitar if you're playing both clean or dirty. The reason I say that is because the Telecaster bridge pickup on the Corvino, if you play with a lot of high gain, you're going to experience, or depending on your proximity to the amp, as well as also how much gain you're using, you might experience some pickup squeal. Further away from the amp, you're not going to experience that. But overall, this would be probably the most usable guitar in terms of high gain stuff, and maybe this too. I don't really know yet. I like them both. I like them both for different reasons, and that's pretty cool. Alright. Tracy says sleeping pill is kicking in. Have a great night, everyone. Have a great night. Thanks for stopping by. I didn't really think too much about the time there when I went live. That's a really good question. Moyle says, are the pickups branded or made in-house? So in terms of these two guitars, they're both using Briley pickups, which are made in Australia. Fantastic pickup company. The guy that runs it, Mick, is an absolute dude. He makes really great stuff. I don't know about these ones yet, so hopefully Dave has already replied. Or if not, they will, from Little Crow. Alright, hey Shane, how does the humbucker compare to the gold top you used to have? Just different. P90s have a bit of a different sort of bite to them. They have a little bit more attitude, and a little more edge. Man, look at my shoe, it looks disgusting. A lot of the places I play at, I was unable to use P90s, which was a huge downer, because we get a lot of buzz from the trams and all that kind of stuff going by, you know, the rail cars sort of thing. So it made using P90s pretty hard. But yeah, look, cut wise they're pretty close. That Gibson didn't have a treble bleed in it, obviously, being an old school sort of Gibson replica, or even though it was a Gibson, it was a Voss guitar. This has way more clarity with the volume control down than the Gibson ever did, and that's that treble bleed circuit, so they're really cool. Showman says this one doesn't look like my style, either that or the Pepsi Max. I'm not too sure. I was playing that, you know, Herbie Hancock song. And that's where that licks come out of, and I got to stop doing that. I don't know, I like it. I think it's pretty cool. I promise I won't belt scratch this one, guys. Alright, round of applause for the patience of Shane's neighbours. Actually, no one's around during the day, so I'm good. That's when I shoot all my videos. I don't shoot when anyone else is around. I have a little bit of courtesy for them, and I can also do a lot of demos through a 2 Notes Torpedo Live, which makes noise not an issue anymore. It's only when I'm playing amps like this. Let's try some Albert King stuff. Bridge is good. One fat Strat Cat says, I can't watch him anymore, he drinks Pepsi. I'm not brand snobbed when it comes to these type of soft drinks. Anything with caffeine's good. I don't really drink coffee, maybe once a month, maybe less. So that's my poison of choice, whatever is the cheapest. It's definitely a really voicey and a bit more of a mellow guitar. Not sure if it's got a treble bleed. Not 100% certain. No edits on this live stream, folks, just lots of bad note choices. Alright, so Ben says, what does a treble bleed do? Essentially, it allows all the high end of your guitar to pass through even with your guitar volume down. So it's a really cool mod. A lot of guys that have Strats and Tallies will put one of those in. It means you can play rhythm guitar with your guitar down and still have all your high end. Or just play soft. So have a listen to this. Let's go bridge pickup, it'll be more noticeable. That's full volume, half. Almost off. Oh, it is off. I don't even know if you can hear that amp at that volume. So yeah, you can get all the tone of the guitar to come through even at low volumes, which is a really handy thing, especially if you're playing really quiet. All the way back up. So yeah, it's a really handy mod. All right. Freebird. I'll tell you what, I don't really know how to play Freebird, thank God, but I'll give you some Mustang Sally or Roadhouse Blues. You choose. So yeah, they're great guitars. Like I said, the last couple times I played this live, a lot of friends have said you should make this your #1 in terms of humbucker guitars. And it's pretty close. I'm actually going to do a shootout just based on what I think I'm hearing with my actual proper amp and all that kind of stuff coming up, because I want to see if it's just in my head or what. But it sounds pretty wild. It's been inspiring to play, which is a good thing too. So yeah, overall, pretty impressed with this new one. I think it's a good addition to the lineup. In terms of sound, it's got its own vibe going on, no doubt about it. It sounds more voicey, meaning less aggressive, a bit more vintage sounding. There's no doubt about it. Actually, like, I know I'm actually seated, but it actually feels good to play. So yeah, there's that friggin' lick again. What am I doing? Every time I play that lick, I'm going to send out a free pic to everybody. Alright. Francis says he's really impressed with the tone of these guitars. Thanks, man. And that's just through a little practice amp, Bugera V5 Infinium. You know, it's a couple of $100. It's running on 1 watt mode as well, so it's on as... Oh, my back sucks. It's on as lower wattage as it's going to get. Almost. But yeah, it's pretty quiet. There it is. I owe everyone a pic. I told you. Send me your details and I'll send one out. Alright, so Marbs asks Little Crow Guitars if they have any US dealers. I'm pretty sure they don't. Doing the whole dealers thing isn't always a good move for small companies and sort of boutique companies. There's too many things that you need to usually have in place for that to work. It has its advantages as well, there's no doubt about it, but I think they just do direct. I can vouch for Dave. He's a lovely guy, and Viv. I've spoken to him on the phone. Did podcasts. They stand by their word. Anytime I've given them feedback and constructive criticism on guitars, they generally use that to make things better, and that's a good sign. They don't just go, "Oh, yeah, that'll do. Next." They're not that kind of business. So you're going to get a guitar that's very unique, handmade. You know, these aren't CNC cut or whatever you want to call it. These are actually handmade. They have that kind of look. They don't have a mass production sort of vibe about them. I'm going to assume that every guitar will vary slightly, even if it's only a little bit, but due to the fact that a lot of this is handmade. Yeah, oh, one thing I should have pointed out too. I don't know if this one's got it. So, yeah, this doesn't have a truss rod. Neither does this. So there's two carbon fiber rods that are put in place to stop the neck from ever moving. That's awesome. I've never seen that before on a guitar. I don't know if I mentioned that on the demo, but if you let me zoom in, I'll show you this. It's kind of interesting stuff because you usually just have the same old story with truss rods on the most part. So is this going to let me focus? Hang on. See those two little dots? That's where the carbon fiber rods go in. They go all the way down the neck. So you're not going to have any warping. And that's killer. I reckon that's a really great thing. So the guitar comes to you and you won't have to fiddle with it. The only thing you might have to fiddle with is if you want the height of the strings lowered a little bit, which I didn't because it played great straight away, but that's it. You don't have to go fiddling with the neck. It's not going to be warped. It's set up in a way where that isn't going to be a problem. So, you know, good stuff for doing something different. And it looks like, I could be wrong, that this one has it as well. Let me have a look at the headstock here. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe this is a truss rod. I can't tell. But I'm sure Dave will reply in the comments. But yeah, overall, pretty cool. So, yeah. Well, that was a quick 47 minutes. So, that's it. That's it. That's the end of the live stream. Gonna hit the sack. Gonna work in 6 hours. Yeah, I gotta get off the seat here and sort my back out. So, I'm out of here. Francis says carbon fiber rods are usually used on uber pricey acoustics. Hey, Terry Bear, how are you, man? A new guitar or guitars? So, for those who have just joined, we were just checking out this new Little Crow guitar. It's loaded with two mini humbuckers. This was the unboxing and first playtest through my little Bugera V5 Infinium amp. And overall, it sounds pretty wild, even through my little practice amp. So, this stream will be archived on YouTube and you'll be able to watch it back if you missed it or whenever. So yeah, thanks for hanging out, folks. Thanks Little Crow for joining in, and I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. 333 says hope you feel better soon. Have a good one. Thanks, man. Just strained my back and I'm like embarrassed that it happened. I can't believe that it happened. But anyway, it wasn't lifting amps this time, so it's all good. Anyway, folks, thanks for joining in, and yeah, leave all your, if you have any questions and I missed them, feel free to leave your comments on the video once it archives, and I'll get back to you. Don't forget to click like and click the bell for future notifications. You'll get updated when the live streams are on. Alright, folks, well, take care, and yeah, rock on. Check this out, eh? Look at that. Man, that looks pretty wild. New Zealand pine. Nice.